Hello everybody, and in today's video, it's going to be a little different. We're going to be just talking a little bit, because life can get kind of tough sometimes, and sometimes you need to hear something like this, and whether it's from someone you know, someone you don't know, or someone you've yet to meet, it can be nice. So this isn't something you need to watch, you can just listen, or if watching what I put on in the background helps, of course that's fine too. I know that sometimes life can get the best of us, and it can be tough. And it's not always easy to find a way to handle it. Some people have a hobby or a thing they can do to kind of help distract them. Some people have a happy place, and some people just get lost. But it's important to know that any of those are okay. If you have a hobby and it helps either take your mind off things or help you to break things down, that's always okay. If you have a happy place that kind of just takes you away from everything for a little bit, that's fun. And even if you get lost and you're not sure what to do, that's okay too. None of them are wrong answers, and sometimes we're led to believe that there is a wrong answer, and there's really only one. If solving the problem includes hurting you or hurting someone else, then that's wrong. But other than that, there's really not. There's a lot of things in life that can kind of get us down. Whether that be life itself or things within it. A breakup, work, school, loss. All these things can contribute to building negative feelings in yourself. Whether it's grief, sadness, depression, anxiety, or even anger, or betrayal. Those are all valid responses. And there's no correct way to handle when things are thrown at us. Sometimes it can be hard to interpret what we're supposed to feel or how we're supposed to react. And sometimes there's an obvious answer. And sometimes we just don't know, and we're not okay. And I think the important thing to remember, which a lot of people seem to forget, is that it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to be angry. But it's important that you don't lose yourself in those emotions. Does that make sense? You sometimes just need to take a step back and look at the problem. Because pushing it down or running away from it entirely doesn't really help and won't really help. Stepping back away from it for a moment is okay. Whether it's to give yourself a breather, to create some space, or to give yourself time to evaluate whatever it is that's going wrong. That's okay. And I don't think we're told that enough. And I don't think as people we really focus on that. We're hitting a point where mental health is being taken more serious, which is great. But I still don't think it's where it could be. Because everyone's different and everyone thinks and reacts in a different way. Whether it be those scapegoats or not knowing what to do. The only person that knows how to solve your individual problems is you. But in that, it's important that you try to understand that. And whether you try to get help to do that or you try to do it on your own is fine. It's just a matter of being able to process and take those situations and either say, this is what I'll do better, this is where I can improve next time, or this is how I can fix it. And with that, we're only human. And while it's okay to try to fix something, not everything can be fixed. And sometimes that's a hard realization. Let's talk about loss for a second. I've lost people in my life, either close to me or somewhat close, and I still don't know how to handle it. And that's something you can't fix, because loss is permanent. But one thing that you'll have from the loss is memories, feelings, thoughts, promises, and these are all things that we can hold on to. And they might not be tangible to anybody but us, but it doesn't need to be. Now work, if we talk about that, say you lose a job and you don't know why. Was it something you just misunderstood? Was it something that went wrong? Or was it just a job you were trying to get out of? Any of those are possible. But that's one you can fix. Maybe in a sense of, why did I mess up? But more, what could I do next time where that won't happen? And trying to look at these things and find the light in them can sometimes be tough. But even when it's tough, that's what I feel, at least, us telling ourselves we need to keep pushing. Sometimes I know that's easier said than done, believe me. And if not for yourself, for those around you. Because there might be people around you or in your life that care about you more than you realize. And when you start to have doubts or troubling thoughts, those people will make it known that either they're aware of it, they want to help, or that they care. And in the same boat as dealing with our problems in our own way, everyone shows they care in their own way. With some people, it's verbally telling you I care. With others, it might be more of a physical thing, like a hug, or just being near you, or more of an unspoken thing, where there's a mutual understanding that they know you need them, and they're there. We often sell ourselves short, and we try to do more than we can, because as humans, we look at everything in a way where even when we see the bright, we might also immediately see the bad or the negative possibility, which is understandable and makes sense. But even though it can be hard, doing your best to not dwell on that or live in it can be the outcome of something greater. And I wanted to say all this because I feel like lately, although, like I said, we're in a good direction in mental health, it's still not where it could be. And it's such a hard thing to do alone. But you're not alone. And I'm not alone. None of us are. And even if not a physical sense, I can understand the feeling of being in a room full of people that you love and care about, and vice versa, but to still feel alone. And it's a hard thing to express or explain. And sometimes even when people tell you that you're not, you brush it off, or you don't take it as literal. And that's sometimes just how we feel. But it's important to know that that's the truth, is that we're not. There's always going to be at least one person. And sometimes that's all you need. Being not alone doesn't always mean being surrounded. It might just be another person seeing you. And sometimes it's all we need. And I just wanted you to know that even in the darkest of times, there's always a light, and there's always a way to get out of it. Like I said in the beginning, even if that means stepping back for a second to build yourself back up and then look at it or reevaluate it in the moment, there is always going to be a brighter light and a way to move forward. Even when you don't see it in the moment, because when things are tough and we're absorbed by one emotion or another, it's hard to see that. But it's always there. Sometimes it takes time, which is the hardest part about it. But if you were listening to this, or watching, whichever you're doing, then you've made it this far. And why not keep going? Think about your life now as to a year ago, or 5 years ago, or 10 years ago, and think if something had happened where you were no longer here. Think of all the things you've experienced to this point that you wouldn't have in those time frames. And that can really help put into perspective how much can change how fast. I've been in many situations that have made me think and want to just, give up. But I didn't. And I'm going in a good spot. And I say that because that could go for anybody. Where even when you feel like it's the end all be all, and you're just at the point of no return, you're not. And there's always something, minor or major, right around the corner that could change everything. Whether it's a sudden change or a gradual one, there's always going to be something there. But you won't know unless you're there to see it. And I know that can be tough. And sometimes unbelievable. Sometimes we hear those things and we're like, there's no way. But there is. And I want you to know that if you haven't heard this today, for making it this far, I'm proud of you. And I know that even in the dark times, things will get brighter. You just have to keep going. And I hope if you needed this, it helped. Or if you just needed a pick-me-up, this was that.